My favorite sport is cricket. Obviously, that's my job now, but it's always been a passion for me from ever since I was a little girl growing up. What drives me is my ability to tell a story of the cricketers, and in my previous job of other athletes, because I was a sports journalist before I got involved in Cricket West Indies and West Indies cricket as a whole. What drives me is, you know, the saying that if you can't play, you teach. I'm not a teacher, but I consider myself to be a storyteller because I write match reports, I do interviews, I tell what happens in a game, I tell what happens outside of a game, I tell the cricketers' story, both men and women. The defining moment for me to get to where I am right now was resigning my previous job as a sports journalist. You know, I was sent a job offer via email, and I had 3 months of my contract to finish at my previous job to get my gratuity and all my benefits after working there for 3 years. But this is an opportunity that you don't get every day. So in terms of this particular job, that was my defining moment. Overall defining moment is seeing the need for a voice for women cricketers in the Caribbean and being able to be given the opportunity to get that voice out and be the one to be not necessarily their voice, but be the one to be given the opportunity to tell their story via my writing, you know, little social media posts, articles, press releases, etc. on the West Indies women's cricketers. So for me, being able to be given that opportunity, for me, that was my defining moment. The inspirational woman in sport for me would probably be Steffi Graf. I remember growing up, tennis was really my first love in terms of seeing women athletes on TV, because obviously at that time, growing up 20 years, 25 years back, maybe that might give my age away, but you know, tennis was really the only sport that was broadcasted and telecasted internationally and worldwide for us to see. And I remember waking up at like 11, 12 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning watching tennis, whether it would have been the Australian Open, US Open, whatever it was. And Steffi Graf, you know, was the athlete at that point in time that was #1 for, I can't even remember how many years now, but yeah, she was the one. And you know, playing through everything that was happening in her personal life and putting all that aside and still being a champion on the court, you know, at that point in time, obviously you don't take these things into consideration because you're young, you don't know what it's like for her to deal with what she's dealing with. But now as an adult and somebody involved in sports, you understand how things off the court affect a professional athlete on the court or on the field or whatever sport it may be, and to now understand how much she must have been going through then, and being able to put all that aside and still be #1, still, you know, win record number of Grand Slams. Yeah, she was my inspiration, you know, in sports growing up. For me, sports is important because it breaks down barriers. It breaks down the gender barrier, it breaks down religious barriers, it breaks down national barriers, and it brings people together. It forms brotherhoods, it forms sisterhoods. You become friends on the field and off the field, despite any political tensions that it may have, you know, going on nationally in your country, whatever it is. And that's how we as a people and as humans, that's how we grow, that's how we bond, that's how we love, through sports. Because, for example, in the West Indies here, Jamaica, Trinidad, Antigua, we're all different islands and all different countries, but we share one love for West Indies cricket. And that's what I think sports does. It brings people together.